Get her off! Get her off!
What happens when the Simpsons are kicked out of Springfield? After the destruction, chaos, annoyances, and cover-ups of a family have led the entire city to conclude that they are truly a menace to society, which honestly, they are not wrong, so they must be exiled. Since they're not welcome in any city, they will have a new life without rules and surrounded by dangers bringing out the worst of everyone. This is the episode 500 of The Simpsons, and it starts with Bart, who has finally earned a day off, and when it's time to go to the couch, we see quick snapshots of the last couch gags in the series, as the camera starts to pull back. Then they are collaged into a mosaic that reads 500. This one has to be one of my favourite intros.
You little...
The episode begins with news that the United States and China are about to beat the crap out of each other, and a massive attack is expected in an hour. But calm down. Don't panic. It's just a drill. All residents must go inside their homes and please avoid panic. Don't let it be like the recent lunar eclipse, where Homer had a lot of prominence. Homer feared the dragon wouldn't cough up the moon. Lisa gets angry because there is no dragon that eats the moon, getting mad at Homer for buying dragon insurance instead of car insurance. But hey, why doesn't he buy both? One can never know.
Everyone knows dragons do not attack cars. Jeez, pick up a book.
Lisa angrier tells her dad that reads books like he drinks beers, and Homer says then she has a serious reading problem. Ken starts the drill and proceeds with his great performance, screaming like crazy. They must enter the shelters without causing total chaos. It's a drill, but they should proceed as if it weren't, and all the Simpsons follow the itinerary for this type of event to the letter. They're supposed to stay in the shelter for 3 hours, so let out your gases now. Otherwise, it will be hell inside. His wife worries that these could be his last words, but no, he's already decided. They will be, I can beat that lion. Who knows in what context he's imagined that. Everyone enters the shelter. Upon entering, we see something quite disturbing. A package with bags for unlived children. Wow. Marge sees that they no longer had powdered food.
Not me.
Homer gets angry. He also wants powdered food, eating the last of what was left, although it was actually talcum powder, and even though he wants to swallow it by force, he spits it out. They spend a very long, boring time. The only entertaining thing is bouncing the ball on Homer's head, but after a while, he tells his son to stop, but Bart thinks that his ball is what keeps everyone sane. Lisa suggests going out, taking advantage of the fact that there's no one on the streets, and that way, they could do things they couldn't do before. Bart could go to school and write whatever he wants on the chalkboard. Lisa could see the planetarium show without devil's lettuce smoke and Homer.
I can drive drunk while I'm actually sober.
They all go out, and Marge, upon seeing a lot of cars parked at City Hall, is impressed, and Lisa thinks everyone is at an assembly without them. Homer and Marge open the door a little, realising that Mayor Quimby was starting the secret assembly, showing why everyone was gathered, announcing the results of an exclusive vote where everyone approved the exile of the Simpson family.
Unending nightmare, The Simpsons.
Everyone realises their presence, and Moe accuses Marge of being the queen of the monsters.
The monster queen is coming on to me!
The Simpsons complain about why they were being exiled, and Mayor Quimby softens things, saying they're not pleased to do this, to which they quickly stand up, saying that yes, it does please them.
Not pleased to be doing so.
I am.
Me too.
Quimby tells them not to overreact, so as not to hurt their feelings.
Have no feelings. Even baby never cry.
She's a freak!
Marge, surprised, asks what terrible thing they did to make them decide to kick them out of the city, and Quimby says the city is going bankrupt because of them. To begin with, the city is bankrupt from paying for all of Homer's drunken pranks.
We won!
Then, there's Bart's pranks that lose their charm as their destruction increases, and Lisa's environmental initiatives aren't so costly, but are annoying. I completely agree with that. Marge tries to convince the citizens not to judge them as monsters, making Krusty cry, and I think it's one of the first times we can see his real nose. Quimby, moved, tells Marge that thanks to her, they always see the Simpson family from a different perspective.
Which is why you're the worst Simpson of all!
Homer tries to give his opinion, but Sideshow Mel throws 2 bones at him. Flanders appears and, presenting himself as a merciful person, they expel in a funny way. Thus, the Simpsons are expelled in a humiliating caravan, and when they reach the city limits, Quimby throws them out in the middle of the road despite Homer curses. All downcast, they move away from the Springfield radio frequency, only listening to Shelbyville stations.
If you see a Simpson, do not try to reason with it. Just kill it.
Which they offer a soda for each Simpson skin, and makes Homer imagine things. Without a direction and nowhere to go, Homer blames himself for everything that's happening to them. Bart asks to go to the bathroom, and when pulling over, a stranger points a gun at them. Homer tells him to lower the rifle.
Put that down!
I just got started.
Not you, him!
Marge explains that they were thrown out of their home, and the strange man welcomes them because, like them, all his colleagues were rejected. He welcomes them to the unincorporated, electricity-free settlement called the Outsiders, their new home. When God closes a door, he opens a window.
I wouldn't be opening no windows. Coyotes will take your baby.
When they settle there, we see a bit of their intro, which is nice and funny detail that reminds me a lot from where Trevor from GTA 5 lives. Only now, they're distracted by watching a fox, which soon gets boring. They better go out to use the vehicles, although to get fuel, they must wait for private planes to crash. Homer, Bart, and Lisa are happy with the new way of life they have, but the only one in the family who hasn't adapted yet is Marge. Plus, she worries Maggie is in bad company, but it is really nice to see she's already well acclimated. Marge wants to go back, but Lisa tells her that even though the place isn't perfect, at least they have WikiLeaks nearby. You can publish stuff anonymously. They approach Mr. Assange, who is somewhat hostile. For him, everything is anonymous. He invites them to watch a movie, but it's about bombings. He goes back to his secret hideout, which makes Marge miss her neighbour Ned. Also, Helen Lovejoy, criticising her brownies. Homer, seeing her cry, decides to take her secretly to the city, using some outfits with which no one would recognise them. Chief Wiggum appears, but doesn't recognise them, and just gives him his gun to warm them up.
Excellent.
Yeah, it wouldn't be you if you didn't say excellent.
Later, Homer and Marge are sharing an impromptu moment while looking at the stars. Then they decide to return to their old house to have a special moment, but Jimbo and company enter the house, discovering them when trying to escape.
It's them! Bart's mom and the fat guy!
And when trying to turn them in, Wiggum appears, leaving them with no way out, as he supposedly always knew about the disguises. All the inhabitants of Springfield are also there, who, very angry, suggest that they punish them in different ways, until Hill proposes shooting them.
Nobody said anything about shooting.
I did just now.
That's right, you did.
And Marge, very angry, realizes that the city of Springfield that she missed so much wasn't what she thought, saying that in the new place they chose, they might not have many things, but they have something they treasure more.
Non-jerks!
Marge continues, saying she's accepted in her new community for who they are. And as they leave, Mr. Burns confuses Smithers, and carrying him, says that he became very demanding.
No, all right.
That's all it took? I just had to ask?
In the new Simpson community, Homer installs an inverted turbine on his ATV, which works but sucks his face in. While that was happening, Marge hears noises in the bush, and Bart, along with Maggie, take care of it. And Maggie, who became absolutely ruthless, takes care. Lenny says he's looking for a new way of life as a friend. Homer adjusts the skin on his face and welcomes Lenny. And even though Homer gives Lenny some warnings, he doesn't care.
Get her off! Get her off!
Later, Homer, Carl, and Lenny are sharing some homemade beers that Homer had made, even though it opens a hole in the cup. But out of nowhere, Moe appears, offering his services as a bartender, starting his tavern in a cave. Lenny has the feeling that this paradise will be ruined, and Homer says that maybe he shouldn't have rented a plane with announcement, saying that is a great place to consume and shoot things. Little by little, the same inhabitants of Springfield begin to move to the Simpson community, bringing many basic services that scare away the old inhabitants of that place.
I am not comfortable being this close to medical care.
Also bringing in an educational system and the poor management of Mayor Quimby. Marge tries to put a stop to everything new they had left behind, but Sideshow Mel explains that progress is inevitable, or at least that's how it was us until the year 2000. Lisa gets excited because they also build an electrical grid along with an internet connection. Finally, we see the old city of Springfield empty, where a lonely Skinner wonders if someone would come for him.
Oh, come on, man. We wouldn't leave you behind.
Bless you, boy.
When rescuing him, Bart purposely makes him crash into many places, but still, Skinner doesn't complain.
It's nice to be wanted.
And this was the 500th, where if the Simpsons are exiled, Maggie will become in a murdered machine. But if you want to see what happens when Lisa becomes a bad girl, watch this video next. But before, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe.